Protests are heating up in Honduras as two leaders of the nation's so-called torch movement against corruption have begun a hunger strike in front of the presidential residence. We bring you this report now from our correspondent, Gerardo Torres.
Ariel Varela and Miguel Briceño, leaders of the so-called torches demonstration in Honduras, began a hunger strike in front of the presidential house.
This hunger strike is to demand that the government immediately request that the United Nations create an international anti-impunity commission in the country. Also, we want the National Congress to call for an extraordinary assembly to begin trials against all those involved in the corruption cases.
The hunger strike began in a very hostile environment with strong military presence all around the presidential house.
The police are trying to avoid a conflict, but they received an order from their military command that is more violent. We see that there are different positions in the police force.
The military ordered a forced evacuation of the area and journalists were violently removed, including ourselves. These actions were condemned by the national media and also by the protesters.
It is shameful that the state is always impeding freedom of speech, especially the media outlets that have maintained their integrity. We regret this situation, but we know that the world is going to know what is going on in Honduras. Honduras is awakening.
Even with the threats and violence against the media, the strong militarization and the attempt to arrest the protesters, the hunger strike has begun, and this next Friday, another demonstration will be heading to the presidential house to increase.
And we turn live now to our correspondent, Gerardo Torres. He is at that hunger strike now. Gerardo, have you been able to get any access to those protesters today? And if so, what are they saying?
Hello, Cody. Well, there's no access for the press or for the human rights defenders. The two protesters that began the hunger strike yesterday have already got to the first 4 hours, and two other protesters have joined them. Now there are five demanding for a profound investigation in the corruption cases that involve the investing of the Social Security Institute for more than $250 million during the government of Porfirio Lobo Sosa. As you can see, this is a militarized zone all around the presidential house. There are more than 200 military officers and 200 police that have allowed no access. People can't even come and bring food or water to the people that are accompanying the protesters, but many groups have spent the night here, and now more than 200 small protests that were on a strike in another part of the city have come here to join and to accompany. This is a movement that has already for a month been protesting all around Honduras, and that this week has made a step forward in this hunger strike. On Friday of this week, thousands of protesters are expected to come here to the presidential house to demand action from the president, Juan Orlando Hernandez, or his immediate resignation. It's supposed that the protesters will be receiving those thousands of protesters that are expected here on Friday.
Gerardo, can you give us some background here for us? What has set off these mobilizations there in Honduras?
Okay, well, during the government of Porfirio Lobo Sosa from 2010 to 2013 of the Nationalist Party, more than $350 million were embezzled from the Social Security Institute, that is a public health system that is paid by the contribution of thousands of workers in the country. This money is supposedly that at least $100 million were used in the political campaign of Juan Orlando Hernandez, who is the current president. Many checks have been presented in which they prove a connection with the campaign of Hernandez and with the National Party, of which he is also part of. The president hasn't presented any explanations about what is going on. Now, the vice president of the National Congress, Lena Gutierrez, is involved in the corruption case, and there are other accusations to the vice president, to the president, and to the president of the National Party. The process began when the government of Honduras refused to make a more profound investigation. People with torches representing more than 3,000 victims of the investing of the health system have been in the streets. More than 200 protests all around Honduras with thousands of people in the streets are demanding investigation of the corruption cases or the immediate resignation of President Juan Hernandez.
All right, Gerardo Torres joining us from Honduras. Gerardo, thank you.